Warwick splash art tier list, and this is purely based off of splash art alone, not in game. It's not based on the in-game model or animations or whatever. It's based purely off of the splash art and what looks coolest. So, S tier for splash art. And now, no, do you know, this isn't my personal opinion. This is actually just like the objective fact of the matter. This isn't my opinion. This is just the way it goes. Okay, this is the way it goes. We're gonna start off with Coven. Coven, this new splash art is beautiful. It's awesome. It's got that purple blood trail, which for some reason doesn't exist in game yet. We'll have to figure that out, but it's awesome. It's sick. It's unfortunately we can't, like, I guess we could zoom in on it. I don't know how this would work. You could see it though a little bit. Let's just zoom in on the splash arts this way. There we go. There we go. You can see it. It's just awesome. It's sick. It's super. It's fire, man. It's fire. But speaking of fire, you know what else goes into S tier? Fire Fang. I don't know what it is about it, but he just looks super cool. He's just like ablazing like a volcano, and it's just like he's got the sharp teeth. It's the angle in which Warwick presents himself that makes him look cool. This is actually partially one of the reasons why this is one of my favorite skins. Is just purely because the loadings, when I'm loading into the game, I feel like a badass. I love Fire Fang. The splash art was previously unmatched, but now Coven came into the picture and says, "What's up, bro?" I'm not sure which one's gonna be better. I'll get back into that. I'll do some ordering later. But after those two skins, we're going to have Project, which I think. It's definitely not as good as these two, but I don't know if it belongs in A tier or S tier. Like an S minus, maybe. I think it's an A tier. It's a good splash art. It's got good action and everything. His teeth, you know, are showing. He's just running straight into you. I guess I like the side. Like, I like seeing the entire body of Warwick. That's probably really the issue. This is kind of cool that he's charging at you, but I think it just doesn't show off the entirety of the skin. So I'm gonna have to put it in A tier. It's definitely not as cool with these skins, even though it's obviously really insane in game. It's just that I guess I don't like the angle of the splash art, so I don't think it's allowed into S tier because this is literally like he's just posing, man. He's just posing the side. He's like, look at how fucking sick I am. Look at how awesome I am. Whereas this one, he's just like, I'm gonna kill you, which is cool in its own right, but it doesn't really show off the entirety of Warwick. See what's next best after that? You know, I'm actually gonna give it to. This might be a surprise to people. Well, I'm deciding between two. Deciding between two here. No, I'll edge it out. I'll edge it out the upset. It's Feral Warwick again. It has that really cool side pose. He's like, I mean, he's just like kind of like I don't know. I don't want to say growling, but he's like, you know, he's yelling or whatever. I guess. Yeah, he's just got that feral look to it. He's just like, I'm gonna kill you, bitch. But it's also from the side angle, which is like I said, shows off the skin. To be fair, it looks a lot different in game. It doesn't look nearly this green. He's like brown in game. It doesn't show off the brownness, so it's a little bit of a. I guess in terms of like matching the in-game model, it's not so good. But the splash art looks really cool. And that's probably the best thing, a part of the skin. The skin looks nice in game, but the splash art really does make it look better than the skin is. Like the skin's good, but this makes it feel look a little bit better. It's just really sick. I'm a big fan of the Feral. But after that, I'm gonna give it to the Lunar Guardian. A Lunar Guardian, you could make an argument for Lunar Guardian being higher. You could actually make an argument for being like S tier up here. I don't think it's going to be in between these, but I think you could make an argument for being up. I can actually see it. He just looks like a god, man. Like he legit just looks like an actual like beast. A lunar beast, one might say, but not actually lunar beast, but you know. You could argue it. So yeah, I think Lunar Guardian looks really sick. He just presents himself as like kind of a god figure, and he's just it's actually really, really dope. I guess what I don't like about it is like the colors. So maybe I should actually just push it up more. Like, I mean, he looks like He honestly just looks like he's descending down straight from heaven. I guess I don't. I'm actually gonna bypass him. I'm gonna bypass them. I'm actually gonna put an S tier. Okay, that's a little bit of a jump. I know it's quite the jump, but honestly, the more I think about it, the more I look at it up close, it makes me realize how cool the skin is. It literally just looks like he's descending down from heaven, and like he just looks big and bulky. This is like the biggest, bulkiest Warwick skin you're gonna get, like in terms of splash art. He just looks like, yeah, he looks intimidating as hell. I still don't think he's as cool and edgy as these guys. I like the cool and edgy. But I actually do think that there's no depth. I think he actually is, now that I think about it, better than Feral and Project here. Partially because of the angle, but yeah, it's just, I don't know, just the way he presents himself here is just really sick. So I think this was a mistake of my mistake of my initial judgment to underrate Lunar Guardian so much, honestly. So I think Lunar Guardian does belong right around there. Maybe I might move him down to A, but this is definitely the order, I guess. So we'll see what we do when it comes to moving him around. Okay, after the fact, let's see. I'm gonna give it to a Tundra Hunter. I think Tundra Hunter is probably the next best one. Yeah, he has just this like crazed psychopath look on his face. Like you can see exactly what I mean here. Like he just looks like absolutely just. He looks like he's just tweaking right now. Not gonna lie, but that's kind of cool. I mean, it's like the only way you could really make like Tundra Hunter to look like really badass is by making him just look like he's just hungry for blood. But they do. I think they do pull it off. I like Tundra Hunter. I think it looks solid. Not as good as the other skins, but I think it also looks pretty cool. I think it looks pretty cool. And I think it deserves a solid B tier. It's like the average splash art, and it's pretty good. Afterwards, you could actually just go with the classic Warwick. Also pretty cool. Doesn't look like actually like, yeah, there's nothing about it that really stands out that like scares you. But he looks cool and composed in this skin. But again, shows off like the majority of his body. He's got a nice pose to him. He's looking straight at you. And the colors are nice, so that's another solid B tier. You could also put this in front of Tundra Hunter, but I kind of like I like the look on his face here. But yeah, I mean, it's fitting that classic Warwick is a solid B tier, right? Very fitting, and I think it's deserved as well. But further down the list, let's see. We're gonna go with next. I actually have to make this, like, I haven't actually thought this through. This is like purely on the go, as we could see from my earlier blunder of underrating Lunar Guardian. I'm gonna start up at C tier. Actually, I'm gonna start up at C tier. I'm gonna put Big Bad Warwick. It's not meant to be a cool splash art. I get you, but and I have a bias towards cool splash arts, but it does look kind of funny. Looks right. Really matches the vibe of the skin. And again, it's one of these skins that looks a lot better in the splash art than it does in game. Basically. So, I think it just fits the vibe of what you're going for with the skin. And again, just because it's not cool, I'm not going to like really praise it too much, but it does the job. Afterwards, next splash art, which looks pretty cool, I'll actually give to Marauder. Honestly, this might be a little bit biased. I probably could put Marauder a little bit higher, but I probably actually should put it a little bit higher. Because I think I'm just kind of blinded by how bad it looks in game. It's not like a horrible skin, but it definitely doesn't look as cool in game as it does in the splash art. I mean, the splash art doesn't look that cool. I'm gonna bump it up just in front. I'm still gonna keep it in the C tier, but I'm gonna bump it up in front of Big Bad. Again, nothing against Big Bad, does the job, but it's not cool, and I'm looking for cool here. And I think Marauder is pretty cool. It's also a shared splash art, which is kind of annoying. But if you're looking at it up close, it is pretty sick. It's just in game, it just takes away from the vibe a little bit. The thing I really wish about Marauder in game, at least, is that I wish the armor was a little bit bigger. I want it to like look like an armored werewolf. I don't want it to look like he's wearing like a skin suit, like he's wearing like latex. That's what it honestly looks like when he's It looks like he's wearing like tight leather pants is what he looks like he's wearing in game. So that's the issue in game. But like yeah, as far as the splash art, it's pretty cool. You know, shows off the armor. Just wish there was. I think there could be more armor. I think that's just the reality of it. I think there could be more armor. It could be a little bit of a better pose. Not I don't like shared splash arts generally speaking. But yeah, I think it's solid. And then afterwards, see in the C tier, we could go with trying to think, man. I'm really trying to think here. I actually really can't even decide because like I think everyone has a case, but they have some clear flaws of these last couple skins. I'll give it to. I'm gonna give it to Grey Warwick, but this is a bit of a color bias. I just love the color of the skin and everything. Like he's kind of in action. Here's the problem with Grey Warwick. Because I'd rate this higher if it was in-game skins. Here's the problem with Grey Warwick is like, I feel like his face just an odd shape in this splash art. Does anyone else feel that way? I just feel like it's just an odd shape to it. Like he has like it's like a long like cartoony like mouth, and I just don't think it looks like natural. Like you can see like with Lunar Guardian, it looks way more natural, whereas this just looks like a little bit exaggerated, and that's like the beef I have with this. But it's cool, and it shows off the colors of the skin, which I love, but I just think it's not really that perfect. It's fine. I definitely like the splash art, but I just don't hate it, but I definitely think it just looks a little awkward and like incomplete. Like if they did it over again, I think it could look cooler. Next up of these splash arts here, I'm gonna give it to the hyena. I'm gonna give it to hyena C tier. Hyena Warwick. Some people might want this to be a little bit higher. I rate this skin low in game and also a splasher. I rate low both ways. I'm not really a big fan of Hyena Warwick in general. And I'm not sure why that is or why people are so hyped about it, but I'm not a big fan of Hyena Warwick. But the splash art, the nice thing about the splash art is the tongue out. The tongue out is pretty dope. I dig it. But I don't know. It just doesn't look like nothing really stands out to me with the splash art really. The tongue out, I guess the tongue out's kind of cool. The fire in the background, I guess, a little bit, but to me, it's just not like a super cool skin. Is that fair to say? I think they could make him look a little bit more, because like the idea that he's supposed to look crazy in this skin, right? He's supposed to look actually just like psycho. Like this skin looks more psycho than he does here, which is just kind of weird. I feel like they could definitely like up the craziness in the splash art for Hyena, and I think it'd be fitting. But it's okay. There's whatever. I think last I'd probably give to just Earthwick. I think Earthwick. I'm not gonna put it in D necessarily because I don't think it's horrible. I don't really think any of these splash arts are bad. I just think it's not really good. Wait. Yeah, D. Okay. So the thing about the Earth skin, I don't know. He just doesn't like. He's not in a cool pose. He doesn't look cool. Like nothing about him like really stands out. The cool part of this splash art is the background, like lighting. The lighting that outlines him is awesome. But what like Warwick is just kind of just chilling here. He's wearing like a speedo and a Earth costume, and he's just kind of just chilling here. He doesn't like look like he just took down like a mythical beast that's Earth the Manatee's supposed to be. He's just kind of just chilling here, and he's got like some bright lights around him. I don't know, nothing special about it. It's not bad per se, but it's really just not special, man. It's really not special. If it didn't have the sick lighting, it would have been D tier. I will say, it would have been D tier if it didn't have like the lighting in the background. But yeah, I'd say that's probably my fair tier list. Let's see if I can maybe reorder a little bit. I'm gonna take this out of S tier. I don't think of it as like an S tier splash art you could I understand the argument for it to be an S tier splash art, but to me it's not S tier. I don't look at the splash art and go like, holy shit. I don't think that, man. I don't like lose my mind off it. I think it's cool though. I think it is cool, but I don't lay out. I'm not crazy for it. I think that for these two skins though, so I'm gonna keep them there. Maybe it's fair to drop Feral down a little bit to B. I think I'll just keep it at A because I think it's like noticeably better than these two skins, but I think it's not as cool as these two splash arts as well. But I think like again it really makes the skin look a lot better than it actually is off the splash art. But yeah, I think this is just my Warwick splash art tier list. So simple as that. Nothing really else to it. And again, once again, this is official. This is official. This isn't my. I didn't even come up with these opinions. As you could tell from listening in, I didn't come up with these opinions on the fly at all. This was a divine, godly intervention that told me to place these in these specific locations. So there's no arguing against it. You can mention it to me, whatever, but this is just the way things are, and you're gonna have to accept it. So that's the Warwick splash art tier list.